Este. Oh. All right, please keep your seats. We're ready to start. We keep going now with the second panel of this year's Congress. The panel is devoted to the protagonists of the sectors. We will have indeed the chance to hear testimonies from entrepreneurs who are changing the sector for good. I have already here on stage with me the moderators of this session, Mrs. Jasna Pejović and Mr. Dimitrios Bakalis. Mrs. Pejović is an experienced leader with over 20 years of experience in IT, sales, marketing, and international cooperations and in international corporations. She is CEO of Flourish and DigitalBee. Mr. Bakalis is a project management officer for EU-funded projects at Ilia Chambers of Commerce, member of Forum 𝐓𝐿𝐼𝐐𝐒, within which he supports very strongly the international cooperation activities of the Forum of Adriatic-Ionian Chambers of Commerce. So we're very glad to have you here with us today, and I leave to you the floor.
Thank you so much. So the topic for this panel is called STEM, Women in STEM. But why this topic is so relevant and important at this moment? So if we speak about some numbers, at this moment, on the level of European Union, we can say that European Union lacks more than 1 million experts in STEM area. On the other side, when we speak about number of women in STEM, some statistics shows that only quarter of current capacity of people in STEM is consists of women. Therefore, today's topic will be about how to start career in STEM, how to encourage girls and women to try their career in STEM, and what can society and environment do in order to promote and support this very important topic. So today our guests are Ms. Milica Janković, CEO of Exploring University and lecturer at University of Donja, Gorica. So Milica, please join us. Ms. Marijana Gligorić, owner of IT company BrigIt, winner of RCC award as a young woman entrepreneur of the Western Balkans. She's coming from Serbia. Please join us. Marijana. Ms. Luciana Di Bisceglie, President Bari Chamber of Commerce, President of Terziario Donna, Confcommercio, Bari, yeah, sorry. Vice President of Terziario Donna of National Confcommercio, but she will be present online. Ms. Luciana, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm not
sure. You hear me?
Oh, hi.
Welcome. Ciao.
Welcome. Ms. Branka Babić, owner of InfoPlus d.o.o, winner of award Woman Entrepreneur Croatia for 2019-2022. Welcome. Ms. Mojca Cvirn, Operations and Competencies Development Manager, PMP, SRC Infonet, Slovenia. She will be present online. Hello.
Hello, I hear you
well.
Hello,
Welcome. Ms. Azra Gligorić, independent consultant on women's entrepreneurship, member of the Regional Association of Female Entrepreneurs from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Welcome, Azra. Ms. Anne-Claire De Faveri, CEO of Algem Natura from San Marino. She will be present online.
Hi everyone.
Hi, welcome, Anne. Ms. Hatice Bilibashi, CEO of STEM Hub Albania from Albania. She will be present online as well. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, welcome. And I would like to give a word to Dimitrios Bakalis, Project Manager Officer of EU-funded project, Ilia Chamber of Commerce, who will be co-moderator today with me. Welcome.
Thank you, Jasna. Actually, my name is Bakalis, and thank you all. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, esteemed presidents of chambers, DRIC Forum colleagues, distinguished members and guests. As Jasna already mentioned, my name is Dimitrios Bakalis. I'm a European project manager, and I have the honor and delight to be here today representing the Ilia Chamber of Commerce in Greece. Following Jasna's opening remarks, I would like to focus a bit on the chamber side of things. As you already know, probably you have heard it a lot during this conference, chambers are strong advocates for policy reforms and for fostering entrepreneurship and female entrepreneurship in detail. That being said, chambers of commerce have a distinguished a role, a distinguished feature, if you ask me, and that is they have a more direct approach to the current trends in the business world. And that is owing due to the nature of the chambers that they maintain a more vivid and a more direct, as I said, approach to their members and their enterprises. This distinct feature of chambers, and in today's case, the excessive networking, collaboration, and promotional activity of the Forum of IC has helped us to gain some valuable insights into the economic sector of the Adrian region during the recent years. What we have seen is that almost every enterprise, regardless of their field of activity, has faced some serious challenges, either because of the Ukrainian conflict, either because of the induced travel restrictions of the pandemic, either because of the rise in the energy costs. Nevertheless, and I'm concluding my speech with that, we have the honor today and the special occasion to see some positive examples of women entrepreneurs who have managed to make it through this tough global economic environment. So this afternoon session is all about celebrating the accomplishments of some exceptionally talented and gifted women entrepreneurs who we have the honor and privilege to have us on board with physical presence and of course online join us from Zoom. That being said, I will begin this round of questions. Before we do so, Jasna, if it is okay with you, I would like to remind to each of the panelists that we have a set of 2 questions for each of you, and I would kindly request that you respect the time limit of 3 minutes per question, because we have so many opinions that they need to be shared with the audience here. And if we have time at the end, we also need to engage the audience. We want to hear them feedback, kind of like a synopsis of what we have heard throughout this very successful conference today. Without further ado, I move on to the first set of questions, destined to Ms. Janković. Ms. Janković is over here. Okay. Ms. Janković, you have an astonishing and inspiring career in the IT sector, but as we can see from your bio, from your CV, you have studied the economy. So my question is, how would you describe this journey from economics to IT? And I'm sure everyone here would like to know, why did you choose to pursue a career in the STEM fields? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Well, indeed, that transition may sound interesting, but in fact, that was the result of some external. Okay. That was the result of some external circumstances over which I couldn't have control. When I was 11, my parents, who are both engineers, established their first company, private company, and bought first computer. So given that this computer was set up in our house, I started to be interested in that. And of course, at the beginning, in computer games and drawing tools and so on. Later, when I was 15, maybe, I learned several HTML tags and built my first website. That website was dedicated to world of jazz music. I don't know why. I mean, in that period, I was keen to jazz music, and that was my way to show others my passion. We're talking about 1997. As new millennium down, that was the time to decide what study should I enroll. And University of Montenegro in these years didn't offer any study program specialized in programming. Of course, I could enroll Faculty of Mathematics, but in that time, study program C didn't exist yet. that's programming study program. So I went to the Belgrade to pick up students' brochures and to decide what would be suitable for me, for my aspirations in that time. Unfortunately, that was just after the 5th October Revolution in Belgrade. And the atmosphere in Belgrade was unbearable for me. So I came back to Montenegro, and I told to my parents, look, I don't want to study in Belgrade. I don't want to go again there. And my father said, okay, then you can enroll some general faculty here, and maybe in the following years you can specialize in some certain set of skills you want. And that's what it is. That was it. I enrolled the Faculty of Economics. But in those years, I didn't know that studying economics, there's nothing in general there. So that was it. Fast forward 15 years, I can say that it wasn't matter. It wasn't matter because all that things you walked through, all that maybe all that things you walked through and didn't want. It's not about who you are. It's something that prepares you for who you will become. Later, I found my way through my master studies, through my PhD studies, and everything settled down. Everything came to the place. And surprisingly, the knowledge, the set of skills I got during my study of economics were and still are very useful for me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this experience with us, Milica. Very emotional as well. I keep the connection between jazz improvisation and tearing down and fixing a broken computer. I see a connection over there. So because of that, you've managed to develop creativity in your character. And now for less than a minute, please, just a bullet point from your expertise, from your career, from your experience. What is one ability or mentality that you would single out as crucial for success in STEM entrepreneurship? Just one word.
Well, yes, I think there is such thing, but contrary to expectations, I think that is not related to STEM only. It is, I think that is ability to understand people. If you don't understand people, you will not understand business, any kind of business.
You're totally right about that. Yes, of course.
Yeah. And so only if once you create meaningful and trusting relationships with the people, you can be successful in the STEM industries. Look at that big tech companies like Meta and Apple and Microsoft and Google. And what do you think? What they are hiring for? About 65% of all open jobs opportunities in that companies are not technical. There are marketers, product owners, project managers, designers, lawyers, HR specialists, sellers, buyers, and so on. And if there is one thing that we need in our future workspace, especially in STEM, but not only in STEM, the finance is like that as well, because people, mind of the people who go in that industries are so technical, and often they forget that those who need to buy their products and services are human beings. So I think that if there is one thing that we need in the future, that is diversity. Diversity in skills, in knowledges, and diversity shouldn't end with the gender topic and the race topic, but we need diversity in every study programs, in every area of our workspace. We need study programs that are multidisciplinary. We need art. I think that we need art and literacy in every study programs. We need different set of skills, different type of communications. We need introverts and extroverts in every team, and leaders and those who follow, definitely. And that's why we at the University of Donja Gorica insist on that multidisciplinary approach in every study programs there. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Milica, so much. I would fully agree. My experience, because I'm coming as well from a STEM area, is that actually the competencies which are recognized by United Nations and World Economic Forum, it's emotional intelligence and critical thinking are as well so important and should be always connected with anything that you work in your life. So I fully understand and support this attitude. We have here today Marijana Gligorić as well. Marijana, you're very young. You have MSc in electrical engineer.
Yeah.
You are startup founder. You are entrepreneur. So we can say that you are really a role model for young girls who are looking into making career in STEM.
Thank you.
So please tell us more about your journey from winning in math competitions when you were still in basic school, till forming community Girl Power. And I will immediately ask you a second question so you can combine this if you want. So what advice would you give to young women who are thinking about starting their own STEM-based businesses?
Okay, so actually my journey started when I was in my basic, primary and my high schools as well. So I won a couple of competitions in math and physics and got accepted from the university, Electrical Engineering University in Belgrade, where I finished my basic and master studies. And after working for a while in some IT companies in Serbia, I wanted to bring one idea from Europe in Serbia with my colleague, who is now my colleague in the company and my co-founder. So we actually wanted to develop a system to transfer money from phone to phone, mobile phones, using only mobile number. And we were doing developing that idea for a while. We made also an application for that. He got the highest grade for that application, his master studies as well. He used that for his research paper and so on. And a couple of people in IT recognized us and said like, oh, you're so young and motivated, and you have that really nice user-centric approach. And as Milica's colleague said, that thing which is so the core for the business, which is empathy, and women are so specialized in that. So they recognized our talent and they said like, okay, do you want to develop a couple of solutions for us as well? So that's actually how we started developing mobile and web applications. And that's the core business that we are currently doing right now. So it's not a classical outsourcing company. So it's actually service agency. And we are developing solutions from scratch, from developing and designing your business model and also like software, the whole software solution, then developing, maintaining the solution, testing your audience with that, and so on. So currently we are working with people from the Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland. So those are the most dominant clients in different niches, including medtech, gamification, e-learning platforms and softwares, social entrepreneurship, which is so important as well. And after working for a while in my agency as well, I noticed that other, especially young women, they actually need our support. And they also need those like role models. They need to see what we are doing, how we are doing things, and so on. So that's why I established one empowerment movement called Girl Power, and the other thing in the Chamber of Commerce of Serbia, which is called IT Section, where we are doing pretty much similar things, and that's like empowering women to use new technologies like AI and blockchain to make innovations, to organize B2B meetings, to connect with other entrepreneurs, with other women, with other Chamber of Commerces as well, and to like spread their network and knowledge as well. Yes.
So what advice would you give to young women? Sorry. What advice would you give to young women who are thinking about starting their career in STEM?
There is a lot of advice that I would give to them, but if I must choose only one, that would be definitely to, as soon as possible, find mentors and to like follow their path, to look for advice, to like a network also, which is so important. But the first thing is like definitely to find mentors and to like have a courage to don't have only one mentor, but to have like a couple of mentors in different sections, which is totally fine. And to like trying to learn as much as possible in short time. So that's definitely it. Thank you.
Marijana, thank you so much. From my experience as well, I would say that this advice is really excellent. So no matter in which stage of your company or startup, or no matter how old are you, if you are starting something new, it's great to have a mentor. I know this personally because my colleague Valentina and myself, we founded startup Flourish. And although at that moment we were like the in one accelerator, like the oldest team, because we were like 40 plus, we actually readily accepted mentorships, and this helped us to bring our startup faster and to bring it to light. Nice. So this is really very worth and valuable advice. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's actually something that we are also doing in the platform that we actually met. So,
yes.
I would also like to compliment you for sticking to the 3 minutes time schedule. I have also installed an app to measure every single second, so I'm going to have an eye out open for you. So now moving on to the online participants. Ms. Cvirn, sorry for my pronunciation of the names.
Okay.
Operations and Competencies Development Manager. Do you copy?
Yes, yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you for being on board with this wonderful occasion. Mojca, your career, as we see, is characterized by roles in which you support and empower startup teams.
Yes.
For some people out there who are not in clear terms with the word startup teams and empowerment and motivation, could you tell us a little bit more about this? And specifically, we're interested in hearing your own perspective of women in the startup world, and in particular, what is the approach, the advice, or some best practices that you could offer to us, to the audience and the people joining us online? Thank you. As just a small interruption before I give the floor to you. 3 minutes is your time as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I totally understand, and I'm very impressed. I prepared something totally different, but now I'm impressed with my colleagues from the round table. And I have to say that this is something which is quite crucial. They are just living in the example that they are balancing between nurturing ambition and compassion and empathy. And I think this is the most crucial. Well, since I'm coming from Slovenia, on the first sight, it seems that everything is not that black in sense of women entrepreneurship in Slovenia, since we have a female president of Business Angels Club, female presidents of Slovene Entrepreneur Fund. We have like Minister for Digital Transformation, which is like very well known throughout the Europe, promoting STEM and women entrepreneurship. But still, I think in Slovenia we have small islands of best practices. For example, in University Incubator in Ljubljana and in Technology Park in Ljubljana, where we, let's say, successfully built some small communities for sharing knowledge, networking, supporting each other's mentoring schemes. But on average, I think it's not that the picture is still more blur, and we have to invest a lot in for the promotion of women entrepreneurship. And from my personal perspective, because still I'm working in an IT company as an operation manager, but since my enthusiasm in startup world, I also validate on, let's say, monthly or quarterly basis startups from healthcare, digital healthcare, in order to validate whether they are good for business collaboration with our company or not. And sadly, I have to say, today I did some statistics on that, and only 2 startups out of, let's say, around 30, which I validated, had a female founder. So this just shows how important it is to further discussing things and to include the leading females from management world and from tech world to be involved in further discussions and shaping programs for supporting women entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Mojca. That was quite an interesting observation. We could safely all agree that institutional capacity is also a crucial factor, because we cannot solely, rely on goodwill and measures and incentives. We also need the framework for those incentives to be able to flourish and support women and their endeavor in the business world. Now, moving on to the second question, again, within the 3 minutes time frame, we would like to know, coming from the business side of things, what is the current entrepreneurial ecosystem in your region, and how could it be altered? What changes would you introduce in order to support women who pursue a career in STEM more effectively? So we want to know about the current state of affairs of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Slovenia, and your own take, your personal take, based on your experience, on what exactly would you change in order to be able for women entrepreneurs to find their way into the business world. Thank you.
Yes, I think we have a very good support mechanisms for startups on general level, and we also have some long-term programs for supporting women entrepreneurship. Those programs are also quite well promoted. However, let's say maybe I work in a healthcare sector, so this is a bit, let's say, a bit different. It differs from others, maybe has more potential and career opportunities, and I would outline why. I think there is opportunity not only for women with background in science and technology, but also from the other fields like social sciences. then there is already a base for forming an influential community, which should be also supported on a strong voice from, for example, investors, etc., etc. And then we also have this, which I mentioned, little local initiatives like in Tech Park, in incubators, and etc. In the last 2 years, I observed two very strong initiatives in our environments, which should become a best practice or which should be more widely promoted. One is association She Knows, which is voluntary, independent, non-profit initiative. In fact, it is a network of female experts promoting knowledge and encouraging women to appear in public or media with impressive stories. And those make women entrepreneurship even more recognizable in society. I think this is one thing, to put more highlight on successful stories. And then we also have in Slovenia award for best female engineer. And I think this is one of the initiatives which should be also more highlighted and even spread across Balkan regions and other regions. And I also think that those initiatives or leaders of those initiatives should be invited in all public discussions and initiatives related to labor market, educational reforms, etc.
Thank you for your contribution. Please stay online. Join us until the end of the session, where a set of a round table of questions will follow. I give the floor now to my colleague Jasna.
Ms. Branka Babić, you are owner of Info Plus, and you are winner of Award for Women Entrepreneur Croatia for 2019 and 2022. It's really pleasure to have you here. It's honor. And you are among pioneers in the field of entrepreneurship in IT. You are a woman in IT. It would be great if you tell us about time when you started your business and about some examples of major decisions that you made along this journey that really changed course of your career. And I will immediately ask you a second question. So when it comes to balancing numerous roles, what advice would you provide to other women and women in STEM?
Hvala na pitanju. Pa ja se malo osjećam staro. Znači, ja sam davno, već 1990. godine srušila taj stereotip muškog posla. Milica je rekla da je u 15. godini bavila se računalima, a ja sam u 6. razredu osnovne škole htjela se baviti informatikom. Dakle, tako je tekao i moje školovanje i prije 90. godine zaposlila sam se u informatičkoj kući. Naravno, od 90. godine znamo što se dogodilo, turbulentna ratna vremena, tranzicija u tranzicijskim procesima privatni vode. Ja sam krenula u privatni biznis. Ako me pitate zašto, ja ću vam reći ne znam. Jutros je Nikolina rekla, kad osjetite da imate taj talent za privatno, onda idete u to. Ja sam krenula tada jer, kratko bi rekla, nisam bila lijena. Znači, krenula sam u to, nisam ni znala u što krećem, ali bilo je dosta teško, sami počeci, znači ponavljam, ratna vremena, tranzicijski proces i sve to skupa je bilo opterećavajuće, ali je išlo. Negdje nakon 3-4 godine sam shvatila stvari da imam poduzetnički duh. Znači, u tom procesu išlo je, ja sam u 96. godine imala 28 zaposlenih u tvrtki. Do 2008. godine kad je nastupila ona globalna financijska kriza, to je nekako išlo tada kao i sve na svijetu, tako i nas malo tu to zadesilo. I naravno u tom procesu u kojem smo radili, softverski proizvodi s kojima moja tvrtka radi, mi radimo poslovne informacijske sustave, oni su to vrijeme bili dugotrajniji. Znači tamo od 2008. godine tada je to krenulo puno brže, rapidnije, tehnologija je išla, moralo se, znači cijeli moj radni taj vijek je bio ulaganje i u znanosti i u napredovanje u radu. Tako da ulaskom u Europsku uniju konkurencija je postala još jača. Naravno i mi smo tada imali mogućnost da svoje proizvode plasiramo na europska tržišta, što i jesmo napravili. 2000 i iz nekih zdravstvenih razloga, što naravno sve to donosi taj radni vijek, 2018. godine sam se odlučila na jedan preokret. Naime, događalo se da svi mladi informatičari su počeli odlaziti u Europu, Irska je tu bila i ja sad gledam šta ću napraviti i odlučila sam se mladim ljudima predati dio firme. Znači, bez ikakve naknade, znači uključila sam mlade ljude u upravu firme i vlasništvo i od tada smo zajedno. Ja tu služim više kao mentor njima, doduše jedan dio menadžerstva još uvijek obavljam, to njih još treba malo naučiti. Znači, to je nekakav eto put. Pokušala sam sažeti u 3 minute, 30 godina, što nije baš jednostavno, ali mislim da je uz rad, odlučnost i hrabrost potrebno, nikad neće izostati rezultat. Ujedno vam tu mogu reći, slažem se sa Marijanom što je rekla za šta savjetovati mladim ženama u STEM području. Ono što ja primjećujem u odnosu na vrijeme kad sam ja počinjala i vrijeme danas, dosta se promijenilo. Iako statistike koje smo jutro slušali ne pokazuju neki veliki postotak te promjene, ali u Hrvatskoj se jako promijenilo što su u IT tvrtkama i to dosta jakim IT tvrtkama na čelnim pozicijama žene, što ima u malim tech tvrtkama žene koje su suvlasničkim odnosima najčešće, što još uvijek mi biramo muškarce uza se. I mislim da savjet svim tim ženama, mladim ženama, za razliku od mene, kad sam ja počinjala, mogu se obratiti nama ženama koji smo sa iskustvom. Ja sam to pokrenula dole zajedno sa svojom jednom udrugom kojoj pripadam, jutro se kolegica o njoj pričala, i dajem mentorstvo. Znači mentorstvo svim mladim ženama, početnicima da se slobodno obrate za bilo što im treba i naravno da u svemu je potrebno da se ulaže u znanje, u napredak, u tehnologiju, nestat i možda samo ne bojati se. Stvarno ne bojati se zakoračiti. Eto, to je neko moje iskustvo ovih 30 godina.
Hvala vam puno, Branka. Evo ja ću ovako nastaviti. Jako inspirativno. 30 godina ne može nikako stati u 6 minuta, ali se makar može naslutiti i ono što se može naslutiti je da je potpuno jasno zašto ste vi dan danas mladi i da godine nemaju veze sa tim. I imati taj stav zapravo da je promjena jedina konstanta, ona je neprekidno prisutna, ali vi je prihvatate, vi inovirate. samo to što ste podijelili način kako vaša tvrtka funkcioniše i kako ste i podijelili dio suvlasništva sa mladima je nešto što je inovacija i što je drugačije.
Samo bi dodala, dakle, uvijek sam birala žene da zaposlim, znači žene inženjerke. Milica je primjer osobe koja je završila ekonomiju pa se kasnije preorijentirala. Ja imam ženu inženjer građevine koja je programerka. Dakle, to apsolutno obrazovanje nije toliko u samom startu bitno šta si završio ako imaš tu volju i afinitet prema poslu. Nama, Milica i ja smo prije ovoga razgovarali, nama je teže ovako javni nastupi, mi smo puno jači za kompjuter, oni kad sjedimo i pišemo linije kodova.
Hvala još jednom.
And now moving on to our next keynote speaker, Ms. Jasna Gligorić, independent consultant on women's entrepreneurship, member of the Regional Association of Female Entrepreneurs. So, Jasna, I'm sure during your life course and during your experience, you have been confronted with women confiding in you, some challenges, some problems they have faced pursuing their career. So, in your region, how would you define the key challenges that women entrepreneurs are facing? This is my first question, and I'm going to follow the good example of Jasna, and I'm going to mention the second question to you. And we need your experience on mentioning a few critical skills and resources that women entrepreneurs need to succeed in today's tough and very competitive business landscape. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. I will follow your example and will respond to both questions during my discussion. First of all, we should think about the environment when we're talking about Bosnia and Herzegovina general region. The first background is that we have some obstacles when we talk about the education, mindset, and tradition. What does it mean? Mindset, generally, when you talk to people, young people, even in our countries, what they want to do, where they want to work, they usually following the good job in public administration. It's long-term, stable, etc. So there is no many answers saying like in United States or other developed country when they want to start their own businesses. So this is, let's say, the first obstacle. We don't think about how to start our business. Actually, we think how to find a stable job. Sometimes it's as I said, it's a public company or some other private company as well. So the second one is the mindset and education. At the same time, we don't have in our educational system some, let's say, financial subjects, or we don't try to develop this in not only the young people but also kids, to start thinking about the importance of not only the savings but how to invest sometimes your, I don't know, maybe even your time, but also the money. So this is something that we should start thinking about to start introducing some subjects or some trainings or something like that to think about this. Maybe with young people with some games, toys, etc. Not like in, let's say, in the high education or even in others. Also, what we noticed working with women, they usually start their own businesses because of need. Not sometimes the wish, sometimes it's one idea, but usually it's about everything is about the need. So they start the businesses because they didn't find a job, or they lost the job, etc. So they start to thinking about how to maintain the family, or how to start gaining some financial resources. So the first, let's say this is the background where we are working on. And then when they start thinking about financial resources, it's very hard to, let's say, to get the loan or even to find some financial resources. They are very sporadic. Even in our countries, there is some programs 1 year supporting women entrepreneurs, but it's not constant. There is no constant when we talk about the financial resources. Then you talk to the microcredit organizations, and they are more in favor to give the loan to the women. Why? Because the return rate, it's almost 100%. Why? Because when the women want to start some business, they think about this not for the long time, but very undisciplined, structured manner. So they start also thinking about how to return the money they take. So they have like a very good plan to do it. So if we copy this, let's say, experience to different, we should, let's not copy, but we should talk more about the good examples of women entrepreneurs, even to advocate not only to the public sector to allocate more money, also the education, but also to different financial institutions. What is noticed right now in when we talk about the banks, etc., there is some criteria that they need to meet. It's related to ESG, economic, social, and governance criteria. So they start thinking about how to check the list when they are reporting to different institutions about how they support and meeting those criteria. So they're starting thinking about women. So we have in our country, we have some examples of banks where they started trainings and also networking and mentoring system for women generally, but it's not, as I thought, this is something sporadic, not organized and in coordination with all different levels of different parts of societies. I mean, the public sector and also the private sector. What is also missed, and the main obstacle is, when I mentioned the mindset, is also when we think about starting some idea, we think about ourselves personally, not even thinking about maybe networking with Marijana or Milica and to start our own business, not the specific my business, you know. So there is also what we try to do is to advocate and to convince people that they should networking not only with for mentoring or to learn from experience, but also to join forces in starting businesses and serve as their role model. So I would say that this is the main obstacles. When we talk about our support is that we are doing matchmaking between different financial resources, or also advocacy services, networking events we organize just to meet with different good practices, good examples, but also to meet investors. But unfortunately, we don't have something on the permanent way to support us. As from Slovenia, they are talking about the startups, but to have some, let's say, permanent hub to go and to speak maybe with a legal advisor, some lawyer to talk about what kind of businesses or the idea that you have you should start with. Sometimes it's maybe just artisan shop or whatever. Maybe it's used more to you. So that kind of hub, we don't have it in our countries yet, or I mean the permanent one. So you have to find out different solutions, as contacting regional associations or women entrepreneurs in Bosnia or regional in other countries, just to have more connection and also more advices.
If I may follow up on a question, because I found very interesting your observation about the difference in mentality, the business sector in the USA and in Europe. I can relate to that. Also in my country, Greece, we see that a lot of people don't invest in being independent, or when they do it out of necessity, as we've mentioned, because they cannot get employed in the public sector. So my question to you, and since we have the honor here to have representatives from chambers and from the policy decision-making world, you think we should put the emphasis on changing the private sector per se, that is the entrepreneurial system, or should we keep on pursuing the same reforms regarding the public sector? Because to increase, for instance, and I get back to my country, we see a lot of trends nowadays that policy shifts towards shrinking or making the public sector more flexible, but as evidence has shown, this isn't always the best scenario. And this doesn't always work productive. Sometimes it even works counterproductive to the initial planning of the policy. So what's your take on that? Where do you think we should put our focus on?
I think there is a need for changes. So both, I would say both, for private sector also to encourage people with good ideas. So Branka told us, that she was, let's say, she had this entrepreneurial spirit. So I think that it's both, because the public sector, of course, they need good people. They need good people working with to them to set up the environment for education, for businesses as well, because they are responsible to enable the environment for starting businesses, growing businesses, etc. Not only that. So I think that it's let's say two ways direction. So both public and private sector, for sure, they should be in coherence, maybe talk more. There is, unfortunately, I'm not talking about now women entrepreneurs, but generally with the businesses in our country, there is no, let's say, there is a lack of communication on both sides. Sometimes the public sector I noticed this during the COVID period when we starting advocacy to public sector to allocate money to save the businesses. They thought, but they are rich people. Why are you lobbying too much, for them? So they see it like oh, they are rich. They don't need any kind of support from. I mean the businesses that are already established and function very well. So this is what should be improved for sure. The communication between public, NGO, and also the private sector, and to work together to be better in all things that we do.
Thank you, Azra. Miss Anne Claire, I hope that you are still with us, because I have two.
Yes.
Great. I have two questions for you. So we are really interested to hear your personal journey and experience as a woman entrepreneur in global nutrition and supplements industry, especially in a leadership role as CEO of Algem Natura. And we would like to know how your company support and empower women in your organization, which initiatives or programs have you implemented so far, or what you plan to do in next period. So floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me today, and thanks to the amazing and inspiring women who talked about their own experiences. I really find it very, very inspiring. Well, my personal journey in this industry started in 2016, not very long ago, when I decided to create this company, Algem Natura, together with other partners in the beginning. But at the time, I was not the CEO when we started. I was responsible for business development because I have both scientific and managerial background. What you have to know is that since a very young age, I've always wanted to do things my own way and be free to decide for myself, both in my private life and at work. And also that my biggest passions were and still are science, pharma, nutrition, cosmetics. And I had built important experiences in big companies such as L'Oréal Paris, for example. And so finally, I thought I was ready to start a new business where I could be the decision maker trying to make a difference. But then I realized on my own skin during the first months of establishing Algem Natura that I was almost never being taken very seriously by salesmen, managers of other companies I had to deal with, potential investors, and so on. Even if they admitted I had good ideas, an innovative approach. So I was asking myself, why is that? Well, as you said in the beginning, the nutraceutical and pharma industries have traditionally been male-dominated, with fewer women in leadership positions. And imagine if this woman is even young. I was 28, 29 at the time. So you perfectly know she has to prove herself twice or even more compared to a male in the same position. And that's just a fact. That's how it is. So how did I pass these barriers and still today trying to, go on? Just by capitalizing on my personal insights, past experiences, day after day after day, and never letting anyone tell me I was not enough until I became the CEO and the president of the board of directors in 2020. And I was very glad this year because I was nominated by my country, San Marino, for the Belisario Prize, which is an award that annually rewards women who have distinguished themselves in their profession, in management, economy, social sector, at national, international level. So I just think, to reply to your first question, that the journey in leadership position for women in general is really about being self-aware, knowing your worth, because in the end, in my opinion, if you don't see it in yourself, no one else will. And as I think you have understood, I am the kind of woman that supports other women in general. I love seeing women succeed in whatever activity they perform at work, in their private life. And I think many women have this added value given by their approach, their knowledge, their sort of empathy and sensibility they have. And that's exactly what happened here in Algebnatura. We simply hired the persons we thought were more appropriate for each different position, both leadership and non-leadership positions. And in the end, the team was and is still made by 90% women. Many of them are also young mothers. So it was never a problem for me. On the contrary, we implemented some initiatives to facilitate the work-life balance of these moms, in order for them to be able to do both without having to give up on their career. And in particular, I think flexibility is the key to supporting working mothers, but also all the other employees in general. So we adopted what I call a do-it-your-own-way policy, meaning that everyone in Algebnatura is free to work at any time from the office or from home. And in general, no questions are asked. If someone needs to take a few hours or a few days off, they have their own reasons, and that's just okay with me. Of course, everyone knows we have working goals, but they also know that I do not give much importance to the process, so how we get there, as long as we get there. So everyone is free to make it in their own way, because I think that though people's reasons for needing flexibility at work may differ, the principles for managing that flexibility are the same. And in general, more flexible schedules work better for everyone, of course. And flexible hours benefit both parents, non-parents, but just in different ways, so that people don't feel the pressure of work plus being a single mom, or having a sick parent at home who needs extra care or anything else. So just to conclude, I think that by empowering people and women, but mothers, women, everyone, we just created this relationship based on trust on both sides. That is really the key of the success of each one individually, and of course, everyone as a company. So as long as it works, I think we will continue implementing initiatives like these ones. And this is pretty much it.
Thank you so much for sharing, first of all, your journey, and then inspiring story about your company. When you say what you implemented in a company, it sounds like so easy, but yet so many companies struggles with implementing such policies and giving people actually the space to grow and not like all in the same way, but simply we are all different. And what I learned as well through my journey now, I mean, after almost 20 years in corporations, now already for 4 years, I'm entrepreneur, is like flexibility is for me key for success, because sometimes I need to do some other things or to be more with my children, and sometimes I can work during the night to do something. So if a company understands this, it gives some flexibility and trust, this can return really on a very, very good way. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And moving on with our panelists, we have the privilege to have with us Ms. Luciana Di Bisceglie, President of Bari Chamber of Commerce, President of Terziario Donna of Confcommercio di Bari, and Vice President of Terziario Donna of National Confcommercio. Do you hear us, Ms. Di Bisceglie?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay,
And
okay.
you are the perfect candidate for our next question, since it is about policy. And we would like to know from your institutional capacity and your role, if you think that legislative or policy change is necessary to close the gender gap in STEM fields. And if so, what would be the specific measures that you would propose? The same principle applies for you as well. You have 6 minutes in total. Thank you.
Okay, so above all, thank you for inviting me, and I'm so glad to be here with you, even if from my office, from my new office, because I'm a president of the Chamber of Commerce of Bari from 2 months. So it's my first international panel, and I thank you for this. But my English is not good enough to continue to explain my point of view in English, so I will do it in Italian. Oh, I'm sorry for this. So, bella domanda mi ha fatto. Io direi che la sottorepresentazione delle donne nei percorsi educativi affini alle STEM ha conseguenze importanti sia in termini di disparità di genere, perché le discipline STEM sono esattamente quelle che offrono i percorsi di carriera più retribuiti e con maggiore stabilità. Tutto questo però ci fa comprendere come tante battaglie contro i divari di genere, tra cui quelle per la parità salariale, passino sia dal potenziamento delle STEM a tutti i livelli di istruzione, ma anche dall'abbattimento degli stereotipi di genere che ne condizionano la diffusione sia tra le bambine che anche tra le ragazze. Quindi la mia risposta è sì, c'è bisogno, c'era bisogno, ci sarà bisogno di misure e di interventi, e per questo il PNR italiano, il Piano Nazionale di Ripresa e Resilienza, ha individuato nel potenziamento dell'insegnamento STEM proprio uno degli assi principali nel percorso per la parità. Su questo fronte, in parallelo ad uno sviluppo complessivo delle discipline STEM nel nostro paese, uno degli obiettivi del PNRR è proprio quello sulla riduzione dei divari di genere, prevedendo un investimento sulle competenze delle studentesse proprio per avvicinare l'Italia alla media europea. Quindi il PNRR consente l'attivazione di molti percorsi e interventi per promuovere l'orientamento nell'ambito di diverse linee di investimento di titolarità del Ministero dell'Istruzione. Per esempio, faccio un esempio a caso, le nuove competenze e i nuovi linguaggi. Beh, questo servizio offre la possibilità di realizzare attività di orientamento da un lato, di un alto contenuto innovativo, ecco, e verso gli studi e le carriere professionali proprio nelle discipline STEM in tutte le scuole ad ogni livello e grado. Accanto a queste iniziative però si possono e si devono introdurre delle misure premiali nei bandi per imprese ed enti con una significativa presenza di donne nei team di creazione e sviluppo soprattutto di progetti digitali, e la Puglia si sta già muovendo in questa direzione. Un'altra misura è quello dell'inserimento delle clausole di condizionalità nei bandi, con quote rilevanti di donne nelle assunzioni, soprattutto relative a progetti di investimento nel digitale. Anche se, questo è importante dirlo, bisogna evitare che si ripeta in questo ambito quanto già accaduto in altri settori. La clausola di condizionalità prevista nel codice degli appalti è stata in realtà derogata del 75% delle gare e di fatto solo il 26% delle gare rispetta questo requisito, che dovrebbe invece servire proprio per superare questo limite e questo ritardo che nel nostro paese è, consentitemelo dire, storico. Poi ognuno deve fare la sua parte, questo è chiaro. Il PNRR nella missione 5, la componente legata alle politiche del lavoro, stanzia ben 10 milioni di euro per favorire la certificazione di genere nelle imprese. Il possesso di questa certificazione all'interno delle imprese in realtà dà un diritto di premialità, soprattutto nei bandi. E poi la terza misura, secondo me, bisognerebbe che per i dottorati, per le borse di studio e anche, diciamo, sconti sulle tasse universitarie per le donne che seguono corsi di formazione universitaria nelle varie discipline ITC. Per le misure, ecco, mi chiedeva quali fossero invece le misure da utilizzare. Le camere di commercio, i comitati per l'imprenditoria femminile e le associazioni di categoria si sono fatti trovare anche pronti a questa sfida e con, come dire, con dei progetti che sono in realtà concreti. Il piano nazionale per la promozione dell'imprenditoria femminile vuole sviluppare una maggiore consapevolezza tra le giovani studentesse della propria attitudine verso le conoscenze scientifiche. E quindi saranno organizzate iniziative informative finalizzate alla diffusione della cultura di impresa e alla promozione delle materie STEM. E questo avverrà tramite webinar, eventi, focus group. Gli incontri si caratterizzano per un taglio però molto pragmatico, con toni comunicazionali, empatici e anche coinvolgenti. E questo grazie alla presenza di donne, testimonial, imprenditrici, lavoratrici e ricercatrici che condivideranno appunto le loro esperienze nel campo scientifico. Il fine dunque è il miglioramento delle prestazioni di apprendimento nelle materie STEM. Questo è proprio il fulcro, no, della nostra attività, in sinergia con i meccanismi motivazionali e di autostima. L'autostima è una questione importantissima per le donne che spesso, troppo poco spesso, ne hanno, come dire, coscienza, ne hanno consapevolezza. E quindi tutto questo costituisce una parte fondamentale per favorire un incremento della presenza femminile nell'ambito delle STEM. Per quanto riguarda poi la collaborazione del sistema scolastico universitario e quindi della ricerca, in accordo con il mondo delle imprese si organizzeranno dei laboratori didattici, dei business game, delle testimonianze di imprese tech. Lo sentivo dire anche, diciamo, dalle altre protagoniste di questo panel, quindi queste imprese fondate e gestite da donne, e quindi percorsi di mentorship durante la frequentazione appunto dei corsi di laurea STEM. Il sistema camerale nazionale e quello pugliese sono già attivi nella diffusione della certificazione della parità di genere presso le imprese, grazie ad un accordo di collaborazione stipulato con il Dipartimento delle Pari Opportunità in materia appunto di certificazione di genere. L'intesa assegna a Union Camere Nazionali un ruolo chiave nell'attuazione della certificazione prevista dalla strategia appunto nazionale per le pari opportunità 2021-2026 e dalle iniziative del PNRR che, diciamo, ad esse poi sono collegate. Union Camere Puglia ha subito risposto a questa istanza e dallo scorso settembre, tra l'altro, soggetto gestore del bando della Regione Puglia, che si chiama Un'impresa alla pari, che implementa la certificazione della parità di genere. I risultati finora raggiunti, tra l'altro, questo, ecco, mi piace dirlo, è importantissimo dirlo, è andato molto oltre le più rosee aspettative, perché, tra l'altro, l'aspetto importante che va sottolineato è che dei 3 domande su 4 che sono pervenute per la certificazione della parità di genere, abbiamo notato che arrivano da piccole e medie imprese che in realtà hanno dimostrato una consapevolezza sull'etica di genere, e questo è un aspetto molto importante perché di solito è sempre una questione legata alle imprese più grandi, a quelle più strutturate. Ancora un'altra cosa che Unioncamere sta facendo è che sul proprio sito ha pubblicato un avviso finalizzato alla costituzione di un elenco di esperti per attività di assistenza tecnico-consulenziale alle piccole e medie imprese, ed è questa una prassi di riferimento per il raggiungimento della certificazione della parità di genere prevista dal PNRR. Ecco, queste sono tutte le serie di attività che non devono mancare però nei criteri che rendano misurabili i risultati che grazie al PNRR si potranno ottenere. Ecco, io credo di essere rimasta all'interno dei 6 minuti e spero di aver risposto con, come dire, con la competenza necessaria alla difficile domanda politica che mi ha fatto, perché il punto è questo: raccontare l'esperienza di impresa, della propria impresa, e come dire, viene facile, ecco, però nel ruolo che rivesto oggi, che ho l'onore di rivestire oggi, ma che mi appassiona profondamente, ecco, bisogna avere una idea di sistema che possa aiutare le donne nell'approccio alle nuove materie, ma soprattutto, diciamo, ad un capovolgimento, no, delle posizioni che in Italia ha una forte matrice culturale e che bisognerà prima o poi, come dire, cambiare. Devo dire anche, e con questo chiudo, che le giovani generazioni rispetto invece a quelle della mia non hanno questo, come dire, non hanno questo muro davanti. Io lo rilevo, no, nella mentalità che la generazione di mio figlio, un figlio di 16 anni, ecco, hanno rispetto a queste tematiche. Sono molto più aperti, non hanno questo divario, ritengono che di fronte a loro non ci siano donne e uomini, ma ci sono persone. E credo che questo sia, come dire, l'iter e il percorso che noi dobbiamo seguire per far sì che si unisca davvero, si raggiunga davvero una parità di genere totale.
Thank you, Madam President. You were close to the 6 minutes time limit, but indeed it was a tough question and you were the right candidate to answer this. Thank you very much for your contribution. And now moving on to the last attendee. Jasna, the floor is yours.
Ms. 𝐓𝐄𝐒𝐓𝐑𝐄𝐒 Bilibashi, coming as a CEO of STEM Hub Albania. I hope that you are here with us.
Yes, of course, I'm here.
Great. You are founder of the Albanian ICT Academy, university lecturer as well. You have more than 17 years of experience in ICT field. Based on your professional experience, how would you rate the importance of digital education at a young age? And as a second question, we talked today a lot about entrepreneurship. We got great insights today. Is entrepreneurship predicated on innovation? And if so, how can a woman become a successful innovator today, per your opinion? So I leave you with your 6 minutes and 2 questions.
Thank you very much. About the first questions and education young age, I think it is very important to start education of digital skills in young age. From our experience in Albania, we have developed the advanced curricula in ICT field for the children, youth age, and also for students and for the professionals with category ready to work. And from our experience, we have seen a lot of parents that they guide the children with extra education in every field, in art, in sports, in foreign language, but not in technology, because they see that the technology is harmful for the youth age. But I think if we orientate the youth age and children in the right path, it will be great for the future to educate them with digital skills. Today we live in 2 different realities. We have a lot of people, children, youth, and professionals that can hold in the latest technologies in their hands, but most of them do not use all the benefits of the technology. And they use this technology just for fulfill the free time on for everything else, but not for the right benefits. And in other way we have the development of artificial intelligence, and we understand that digital skills are needed not only for the young people, but also for the different professionals. Also, it's very important for the young people to give not only the digital skills, but to support them to develop the critical thinking, the creativity, and the design thinking is very important, and also the soft skills. And for the second questions, I think that entrepreneurship is not only based on innovation. Of course, innovation, it is important for the success entrepreneurship, but also is a valuable component, but it is the only path for, it is not only path for the success. And I would not prefer to divide innovation by gender, because all the professionals have no gender. We are all preparing for the future. And in the same time, the innovation maybe can start more easy with identifying of the problem that needs to be solving, not only with high level of technology or innovation. And for every successful woman, I think in her career is that brings support and she serves the community, I think she brings the innovation, and it is successful in innovation and entrepreneurship at the same time.
Thank you so much for these insights. Dimitrios, are we ready to sum up
Yes,
this
of course.
panel for today?
First of all, we want to thank the Montenegro Chamber of Commerce for this exceptional organization, the IC Forum as well. We stand in oath from this in this conference room. Everything was perfect. We're privileged to share the stage with some very aspiring women entrepreneurs. I think we have gained some valuable insights. You want to go into details? You have made some notes.
Actually, I didn't make any notes. I'm very emotional. I would like to hug all these ladies, even if some of them are online. And I have so many questions. So I'm really looking forward to the informal break after this event so we can continue our conversation. But I saw that you were writing some notes, Dimitri, so I'm counting on you.
Yeah, I was charged with 2 tasks today: to keep track of time and making notes. So I think I try to balance both feet on the same boat. So from the first candidate, I keep as a keynote aspect that we need to be not too technical, not to get indulged in our science, but we need to be more open-minded and have a more emotional intelligence, because tech enterprises and fintech enterprises are not always about tech. They're also about people and vision and how they market the whole concept of their field of activity. Initiatives have also been a strong suit, as we see. We need more networking of women, because this very conference is a testament to the networking powers of today's society. We all come from different places, and we have this very useful occasion to exchange ideas and talk about and get to know each other better. I give your example as something very, how do you say, very radical thinking, because it's a leap of faith. And I think this is a fine example of that. We need to put our money where our mouth is. We need to show with practical terms that we have trust in the young generation and in young women. And what you have done is astonishing. Kudos to you, chapeau. Second of all, I see that when it comes to education, actually, when it comes to reforms, education is the key. We need to introduce some measures that will help the younger generation and women fight this, this biased, this gap in the mentality. As you have mentioned that if you cannot get employment, you should start your own enterprise out of necessity. But in the same time, you don't really believe in yourself, because you are embarking on an adventure on something that you are not fully aware of its potential, of its capacity. So we need to support the vision of young women, and moving on to a conclusion, flexibility is the key. The timer works also for me. I got notified that I should wrap things up. My God. And last but not least, sorry for that. As I said, flexibility, creativity, design is the key. Collaboration is crucial. And we also, by giving the floor to the next generation of women entrepreneurs, that doesn't necessarily mean that the older and more experienced entrepreneurs need to be placed in the background. We need the support. We need their mentoring skills. And last but not least, it was an honor to co-moderate this event with Jasna, who is also a great entrepreneur with a very successful journey in the entrepreneurial industry. And due to the stress of the moderation, I didn't have the chance to congratulate you on all of your success. So it's been an honor for both of us. Thank you very much for this great occasion. That's all for me.
Thank you all. And let's continue our talk with the coffee.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was really inspirational to hear from your journey, the obstacles that you have to overcome. And thank you for all the tips and tricks that you shared for future generation of entrepreneurs. So again, thank you very much for being here with us today. You're free to go. I free you. Thank you again. Now we almost reached the end of this 13th Congress. I will now call the intervention of our colleague, Mr. Stavros Kalognomos, who should be connected with us online. He is Executive Secretary of the Balkan and Black Sea Commission and the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Region, the CPMR, which is the INUREC Plus coordinator. Stavros, are you here with us?
Hello, good afternoon.
There you are. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Camilla. So, because I know that you are tired, but first of all, let me apologize because I couldn't be with you today. I was more than astonished by what I heard. I'm really impressed, and I'd like to thank our precious partner for Mike because they've done a great job as always. But I think that this time it's even it was beyond all expectations. I'm really impressed. So congratulations to the whole team, because I know that you've worked hard for this event. I couldn't be with you today because this week is the European Week of Regions and Cities in Brussels, so I had to be here and also promote INUREC Plus. Let me a bit sum up, assist the last moderators to see a bit the results of today's meeting and some ideas for the next steps that we will also use for the final conference of INUREC Plus. Just to remind, I suppose it was said today that the final conference of INUREC Plus will be held on the 30th of November here in Brussels. We have sent, saved the date, and we'll send soon the invitations to all participants. We'll dedicate a specific slot for sure on this Congress and its results. A few notes I've taken, or a few notes that our precious colleague Anushka Stoka has taken for me, and I'll enrich with some of today's information we had. So to sum up what we heard today and what we can do next is that today we learned how a big share of work for women in the region is unpaid work, and that women entrepreneurship was supported before because it was asked by the European Union, because women entrepreneurship is an indicator of advanced economy. We also learned what needs to be noted is that women-led enterprises are entering also the new topics. That means green-related and innovative. So they are quite related to the Green Deal of the European Union. We got some examples from the different countries. So in Italy, we learned that there is an observatory that the COVID was also a challenge, but also an opportunity for women entrepreneurship. There is still a gender gap reduction, and we still need to work on it. We also have a CPMR, and I'm glad that we had a representative of our membership, Ms. Duhani from Shkodër, from Albania. So we have a gender task force as CPMR, and we work together with our members from all over Europe on this kind of issue. So we'll benefit from Shkodër's experience on this topic to see how we could help things to be driven forward in the Adriatic-Ionian macro region when it comes to gender gap and women entrepreneurship. So gender gap reduction is still needed in the whole region. The inclusion of gender equality requires more trainings because sometimes the biases and the prejudice is due to lack of knowledge. So trainings need to be permanent and structural, and they also need to be funded. So we need to see how we could lobby for more focused and specific funds at EU level from the European Commission. So we could also see with all the 𝐓𝐄𝐒𝐓 Plus partners, mainly with Forum Mike, since they've done this amazing job today, how we could include this kind of request in our reporting to the European Commission, how we could pave the way for relevant policy work and maybe project work in the future. Then we learned that some sectors, such as the culinary sector and the enogastronomy, are underrepresented when it comes to women entrepreneurship. So some support should also be needed for women. We also took note that the practical application and legislation is not women friendly. So we could see how we could assist to this point at the macro-regional level. We also learned today that the Regional Cooperation Council has focused on preparing detailed guidelines for the member countries involved and covered by their institution. And then, hopefully, unfortunately, we learned that Western Balkans have a good policy basis, but still needs a lot to be done on when it comes to implementation. So we could see, together with our 𝐓𝐄𝐒𝐓 Plus partners and key stakeholders and actors in the area, how we could stimulate cooperation and collaboration in the region, how we could encourage new partnerships. As said before, we'll work with our member region in Albania, Shkodër, to see how we could replicate their best practice in the rest of the region, mainly the Western Balkans, because the Western Balkans are for sure the 5 EU SAAR countries, but there is also the Western Balkan strategy, and we could see how we could benefit from this framework as well. Then we noted down that there is a lot of funding when it comes to regional or local funding. Sometimes it's more appropriate than the EU funds because they're more stakeholders, more local stakeholders oriented as funds. And it is really appreciated. We note that the European Entrepreneurship Network guidance is free of charge. This is really helpful, and it should remain like this. The obstacles now and what we could and should deal with for the next steps, both when it comes to policy making and projects. The skills. Let us remind that this year is the European Year of Skills. Last year it was the European Year of Youth. So we could also see with the speakers today, we'll get back to some of them on this topic, to see how youth and skills, and when it comes to women and the young women, how they have filled in the gap and what we should do better to support the management of skills in the area. So skills and management are the main obstacles that should be coped with. And then we see that investments in small women-led companies face different challenges, but still provide a lot of opportunities. So, because sometimes they need to move abroad, they need to change the management. I heard from most of speakers that in men-led enterprises, they face many obstacles and they have to deal with them. So we should also contribute to change this mentality. And this needs to be done also through education, because when it comes to sustainability, young generations contribute to the success of the different policies. So we also need to train young women, students, so to bring what we'll need to schools, so that the schools also contribute to the change of mentality. This is something we could see also with the universities and UniAdrion, our other 𝐓𝐄𝐒 partner, how we could contribute to this change of mentalities. And then we've noted down that the market barriers need to be removed to have women-led enterprises to enter the market and stay in the market and within the region, so to deal with brain drain in the region, and especially in the Balkan part of the Adriatic-Ionian macro region. And then, fortunately, there are many initiatives. So there are initiatives to promote role models, to work on networking, matching, investments, gender equality. And this needs to be promoted everywhere, both in companies which are not women-led or women-owned, and the other sectors. So this requires a lot of work from all 𝐓𝐿 partners, and be sure that we'll be there to support you. Then we also have the link with the Nobel Prize. It's something that we should take into consideration. I really like the intervention of Ms. Gligorić, the winner of the RCC award as Young Woman Entrepreneur of the Western Balkans. And we may bother her in the future for other relevant conferences. As I said again, this is the EU Year of Skills, so we'll include this part together with Forum Mike in our reporting to the European Commission. By the way, this morning I participated in an event about the Youth Manifesto in the Western Balkans, and digitalization and needs for digital skills were among the priorities of young people in the region. So we could see how we could include it in our future work. And then education, as mentioned, that it needs to be spread out to all levels of education, so that we face these mentalities that are a bottleneck for women to enter entrepreneurship. And then innovation, still part of what we are doing with 𝐓𝐿+ is to promote innovation. Competition, the competitivity of women-led enterprises needs to increase. So we are there for that as well, together with our partners. The future will depend on what is invested now in the young generations. And this is something that we also work on through our 𝐓𝐿+ internships. We already have our interns across the region and in Brussels. So we'll get back to them to see also this part of the mentality and of women entrepreneurship, how they think that it could change. So their feedback is more than useful also in this regard. And again, as we said, we need to provide links between the different levels of governance, but also between the different levels of stakeholders and sectors. So also public and private sectors. We should see how we could encourage more relationships and changes, so that the public sector offers some support and changes and adapts to the new reality and the new technologies and needs for the region when it comes to women entrepreneurship, and also to provide a good framework that also has the legal framework, that means the rules that will apply in different countries. And we need to make sure that the new rules will be efficient and will help also the private sector's growth. This was, let's say, this is what I wanted to share with you. I'm really impressed and moved as well, because I have no words, in fact. So I'd like to thank all speakers. Again, Forum Mike, I know they've done a great work and it's more than obvious. So hope to see you soon all somewhere else. In Brussels to start with, end of November. And we'll get back to you to see how we could also benefit and share your expertise with the other sea basins of Europe, and see how we could also promote cooperation with other sea basins, other strategies, and the benefit all from the different EU opportunities that will emerge within the next few months and years. Thank you.
Thank you, Stavros. Thank you very much. Yeah, indeed, as you said, women entrepreneurship is at the core of 𝐼𝐼 initiative activities. We have done a lot through the initiative, but we will keep on doing it to keep the discussion open for sure at national, macro-regional, and also European level, that's sure. So we reached the end of this Congress. What we can underline today is surely that connecting with other female entrepreneurs is a great way to develop a strong support system. Mentoring is a word and a concept that came up a lot during the sessions from this morning and also this afternoon. So, and also that resilience is a key topic when it comes to female entrepreneurship. So we thank all the amazing speakers that animated today's event, the moderators that masterfully choreographed all the interventions of the two discussion panels. Also, a huge shout out goes to the interpreters for the amazing job they did today for us. This event was also organized within the Enterprise Europe Network. So a special mention to the Enterprise Europe Network here in Montenegro for the great job they did in disseminating the event, the great support they gave us. And of course, thanks to the Chamber of Economy of Montenegro for hosting us and helping us in doing all of this. I remind you that the video recording and the full report of today's event will be published on Forum Mike as well as the 𝐼𝐼+ websites. And I invite you all also to follow our social channels. We are very active and you find us all over the internet. And finally, thank you to our on-site and online participants for having been with us today. And for the brave ones here in Budva who stayed with us until the very end, we will have another moment of networking during a coffee break right now. So thank you again and have a nice evening.